Okay, so this time I'm going to show you from a forehead point of view, like from the skull, and what that would look like. Because sometimes shoes are hard to draw, so foot view is sometimes tricky. Make it look like it's coming forward. Okay, your only job is to watch. Go ahead and put phones back away. Okay, so the first thing I need to decide is this vertical, horizontal, or squared. So I'm going to measure the tallest point compared to the longest point. And this is a horizontal. So from where I'm at, it's a horizontal pose. So now I need to find the middle. And the oil pastels are optional. I mean, if you want to stick with pencil, I just thought it might give you something interesting to try out today. You should be able to gesture draw with any material. So there's middle that direction. I'm going to go middle this direction. And figure out where those intersect. It's going to be right about there. Okay, let me turn the light off so you can see that a little better, maybe not so many shadows. Okay, so now I need to I found the midpoint of the paper. I need to find the midpoint of my model. So I'm going to measure horizontally, because that's the longest direction, right? So I'm not measuring vertical right now. And then I'm going to find the middle of my pencil, or that section of my pencil. So I'm like measuring. It's trickier when you have a shorter pencil. That's the warning bell, that's not us. So I'm looking at right about there. So I'm going to hold that up. And that's going to be your nose. So her nose is right there. Then I know I'm going to have at the very top, I'm going to have a hip. Over on this far right side, I'm going to have part of a shoe, foot, and shoulder is going to be somewhere over in here. So in order to make it fill the page, I have to have all my anchor points in place and my measurements correct to get that filling the page. Okay, so now I'm going to gesture draw. I'm ready to gesture draw. So even though I'm seated, I'm going to work to move my whole shoulder. I'm going to start with the skull, just like we did before. Now I'm making a lot of circles or ovals, but I'm only dropping my pencil occasionally. Now I'm going to make collarbone. Collarbone is going up this direction. I don't see that other shoulder, so I'm not going to draw it. Hip bone is stacked almost above the head. And then I have knee. Okay, right now I can't figure out how close the knees are supposed to go, so I'm just going to stop and measure and compare. So I'm going to compare the vertical, because I know it's a horizontal pose. I'm going to compare the vertical measurement, so I'm measuring the complete height, and then turning that measurement. So I'm trying to figure out exactly where the knees go in relation to the midpoint. So they're actually going to be really close to the shoe, overlapping. And there's a hand here. So I put the hand, and then the knees are stacked. So I'm noticing this needs to come down, so I'm going to bring it down. Okay, so your one job is to watch, right? So now I'm going to try to show where the line of the face would be, so we can get a sense of direction. Go ahead and add a little bit of detail of the hair. One of the nice things about drawing wrinkles in clothing and hair is it allows you to get your arm moving into that nice gestural movement. And then when you have to slow down in another area, at least you've got it. So I draw fast, and then I measure and compare slow. So here's an arm, and a hand on a knee, and then there's a little bit of a foot, but it's really small. And a little bit of another one stacked. So just wrapping around lines, around limbs will help. Part of her jacket's here. I'm gonna go ahead and draw that. Feeling like I got most things in place. So I'm feeling okay about where things are. So a little bit more definition to know where the nose is and where the eye is, just so you can see that. And there's part of a pillow here. Okay, any questions? So eventually I will clean this up and get more specific. And as I get more specific, I can go a little darker. So I can get more specific about this collar, clothing, shirt collar. I can get more specific about where the jacket is in relation to the hip. But I'm not just filling it in, and this is not about filling it in. So the triangle of the hand this time is going to go this way because it's spread out. And shirt sleeve. And part of a pillow. This part's closer. And toes need to be a little more rounded and a little bit shorter than what I have drawn them. So I'm going to draw it darker and make a correction. Okay, any questions? Any questions at all? Kind of sort of make sense? So this is the level I would want you to have when you're turning it in, about this level of, like for your homework, this would be an appropriate thing to turn in just like that. So questions at all? Everybody got it?